Let me give a warm AASHTO welcome to Mike Johnson, Division Administrator for Highway Development and State Bridge Engineer for the Idaho Transportation Department, and Lindsey Olmstead, Software Engineer at ProMiles, to take you away on this webinar. A couple of quick housekeeping items. The webinar is going to be recorded and available to view later on. Secondly, there is a Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. Questions can be submitted there. You'll either receive a typed answer, or if we have time, we can answer a few of the questions live at the end of the webinar. Otherwise, thank you for joining, and I'll let Lindsey and Mike take it from here. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. And as Ben mentioned, I'm Mike Johnson. I'm the State Bridge Engineer for the Idaho Transportation Department. I've been working with BrDR back since the early 2000s. I think I started looking at it in 2004 and working with it in 2005. I am currently one of the task force members for my specialties for the rating portion of it. Lindsey and I are going to talk to you today about the load rating tool and the load rating tool 2.0. But before we get into it, I'm going to give you some old and new approaches to create reports. So what we did in the past, and then Lindsey is going to take it over and give you what the present and the future of the load rating tool 2.0. So as we go to the, Lindsey, if you could switch to the next slide, please. Before we could go forward, I want to take you a walk down old memory lane and tell you about the reporting tool and how it got to where it's at right now. AASHTOWare Bridge Design and Rating was first released in 1999, and AASHTOWare Rating was labeled Vertus, and then they had a design program called Opus. And over the years, those two joined, and it wasn't until about 2011 or 12 that they got rebranded to what we know today as AASHTOWare Bridge Design and Rating, so BrDR. The report tools from back when it was released were just typical of what they were for the industry back then. And it's a far cry from what we would expect today. What people want today are more interactive, more flexibility, more customizable type of tool or report tool features. The users over the years have requested improvements to what was done originally. And back in 2013, a report tag was formed to get user input and get their needs of what they wanted to see in the report tool going forward. You know, in the legacy BrDR, several input and output reports were created. We had the BWS report, but through the years, we added input and output reports that we're going to show you in just the next slide. And as we went forward with the modernization, the same report tools from legacy were included. The users needed more flexibility. They needed more customization. They wanted this, and that's the direction we decided to go. There comes in Report 2.0. Next slide, please. So this is a screenshot of what the first generation of the report tool was in the legacy BrDR. They were added like some customization of different aspects that you could put in your reports by just clicking checkboxes. The the report tool was still not fully customizable, but it was more flexible. And the reports were located throughout the software. So if you wanted to do the input tool, you would go in one port. If you wanted to go to get what the moments are or the forces are, you'd go into another area. And if you wanted to get the engine output, you'd have to go somewhere else. It wasn't convenient. It also didn't have all the features that the users wanted. And so that's where we've been focusing on this transition. And I say that focusing on the transition because we put out a new report tool under this last release. However, it's still in progress. We're still building it to where we want to be in the future. Next slide, please. And here's, I mean, this is the legacy engine. And as we talked about, the engine output reports were totally separate from the other reports. You had to go into different spots. And as you can see here, this is the engine output. But if you wanted to go get your input, you'd have to go somewhere else. And so the users were needing to manually combine multiple reports together in order to develop the documentation that they needed for their design or their rating. And this wasn't convenient. Next one, please. So there was a template generator in Report Tool 1.0. And I'm going to just go through a little screenshot clicking of what would have to happen and how clunky it really is compared to where we're going in the future. It was usable, but it wasn't convenient especially for complex reports. And like I said, it's a multi-step process. So you start off when you're going to build your report with this blank screen. And from there, Lindsey, next one, you have to open up like the bridge description. And from this, using this bridge description, you can edit what groups and add what you want in there. So next one, please. So from the bridge description, you can add like materials or beam shapes or the multiple presence factors. And inside of each one of those, you'd have to click on one of those. Next one, please. And it would bring up an edit group. And from, like, if you click on the beam shapes, you can click on what type of shapes you want to include in your report. And here we have the 3 different shapes clicked. So next one, please. So once you have the shapes that you want, or the additional information in each one of this, you have to drill down in each subcategory, like still beam shapes, and click, well, what do you want? The still angles, cross section, eye shapes, or whatever. So, and you have to do this for each one. So next slide, please. And you can see, here's the tool that here's your report you're doing, but it's still, there's a lot of clicks. And if you want to build a tool, you might have to be doing hundreds of clicks and entering many different screens in order to get the report that you want. Next one, please. In the new report tool, all the reports are going to be in one centralized location. And as you can see, the report tab is within the bridge workspace ribbon. It's going to be easy to customize, and it's very flexible for you. And from here, I'm going to hand it over to Lindsey so she can show you where we're at now, where we're going in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike. So now I'm going to take you behind the scenes of the new reporting features. So phase 1 of the new report tool was completed in the 7.5 release. So this included BWS reporting features for pre-stress girder line and pre-stress girder system structure types only. It also included a new report template editor, and the remaining superstructure types and output reports will be added in future phases. I think it's important to stress that this is really just building the framework of the new report tool, and we're going to continue adding and building onto this over the coming years. So with that, I am going to do a quick demonstration of the new reporting features that we have added in 7.5 here. So first I will open PCI Training Bridge 6. This is a girder system bridge, so this is one of our supported structure types. So as Mike mentioned, everything has been moved over to the Reports tab here. We have two quick reports that you can generate. We have a summary report and a detailed report. If I wanted to generate a summary report, I can select the node that I want to generate a report to or generate a report for over here in the bridge workspace. So in this instance, I'll just generate one for the bridge. Click summary report, and this report includes all the items associated with the particular window that you have selected. If I wanted to generate a quick report for the particular window and all of the child tree nodes below it, I could do that using the detailed report. So for example, I can select the superstructure definition here, click detailed report, and then this report will be generated. You can see all the additional window information here as well. You can also get to these options here as well. So as you can see, these nodes or these reports just use the default styling and formatting that that comes with BrDR. If you wanted to customize your styling further, you can do that via the new template editor. So when I open the template editor, the template tree here is already populated. This basically mirrors the BWS tree. So here you can choose to include or exclude items from the from your template, basically at the window level. So you can choose which features to add here. If I wanted to drill down a little bit further into the details and choose whether to add or exclude things like on the data section level or on the on like a per field basis, I could do that here in the section contents tree as well. And then in the report panel, we also have the summary tab and the reports tab. So the summary tab just displays the items associated with the selected tree node. So basically, again, the contents of the window. If I wanted to view the contents of the entire report, I could go up to the ribbon here, click Generate Report. And then the report tab will be selected, and you can see this is the report for the entire bridge. We also have a list of style sheets here. These are the default style sheets that just come with BrDR. You can edit these as you choose, or you can create new style sheets. So we have font styles and block styles. Block styles basically allow you to customize borders. And then we also have the properties panel here. This allows you to assign fonts, to show and hide headers, adjust your indentation, and among other things. Okay, so now I'm going to work through a quick example. So we'll go ahead and start with an empty template. To start, And then we will add the bridge window, parapet window, and the concrete window. And then I'll go ahead and click Generate Report. And you'll see that just those items are included in the report. So as of right now, there is a lot of empty information in the bridge window if I have that selected in the section contents tree. So we'll go ahead and just hide a few of these sections to exclude them. Okay, and we can also hide some of these empty fields in the description section as well. Okay, and we'll also go ahead and hide the description field in alternatives. And then if we wanted to fit this name all in on one line, we can adjust the column width here. Okay. We can also reorder items in the tree by dragging and dropping things. So for example, if I wanted to display the name item at the beginning of the alternatives table, I can just drag this to the top here, and that's automatically updated here in the summary view. Additionally, I could drag the description field up above summary as well. And again, this is updated automatically. Basically, you can drag items however you choose, provided that you respect the hierarchy of the tree. So for example, I can't drag this name up into the summary folder. Okay. So similarly, we can drag and drop items to reorder them in the template tree. So for example, if I include the pre-stressed strand window, you'll see that right now this is currently at the bottom of the report. I can drag this up to the top above a concrete window, and that reordering is reflected here. Additionally, I can drag the materials folder up above pertinences if I wanted to display it that way. Click Generate Report. And again, these changes are reflected in the final report. Okay. Additionally, you can choose to display items in a tabular format as opposed to a listed format. So, for example, if I wanted to display these concrete material items in a table format here, I could select this node in the section contents table, and then in this the table properties panel, toggle this to tabular, and you can see this is displayed as a table. And I'll go ahead and assign this the default table block style as well, so we can give it a border. Okay. And you can also customize how this table is displayed. For example, if I wanted to roll these columns over to the next line, one option would be to again select this concrete node in the section contents panel. Click duplicate here, and then just hide the second half of these columns. And then in the second concrete node that was just duplicated here, I could hide the first half of these ones. Okay, so that looks a lot cleaner, and you have control over how you want your tables to be displayed. Okay. So additionally, you can update existing styles that we have provided with the report tool. So since we have a table here, I'll just go ahead and update the default table block style by clicking Edit. So these are some of the options that you can edit here. So border color, width, and then which size you want to have a border. We'll just go ahead and change this to red. Click OK. And then this change is reflected instantaneously in the summary report panel. Okay, and then if I click Generate Report, you can see the alternatives table was updated here too. That's because this section also references this style. So if you make a change to a style, it'll be updated wherever that style is used. Okay, we can also create new styles. So I'll just go ahead and create a new one here. We'll make this a font style type, Times New Roman. And then we'll make it bold and underline. Okay, color will be blue, and then we'll make the background color yellow. Okay, so no changes have been made to our report yet, since we haven't used this style anywhere yet in the report. So we will go ahead and assign this to the BWS detailed report header. To do that, we would make sure we have the BWS detailed report item selected in the section contents panel. And then we'll update the header font to use our new test style. Okay, and then if I click Generate Report again, we'll see this is reflected in our final report. So now that we have a template created, we can go ahead and save this for future reuse. So I'm going to click Save As in the ribbon here, and then we'll just go ahead and overwrite this test template. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and exit out of the template editor. And then if I wanted to ever use this template for this report, I could just click View BWS Report. Again, click Test Template, and then we can see this is our template. I can also reuse templates on other bridges. So I'm going to open PCS Training Bridge 5. Okay, and again, we'll go ahead and open our template. And you can see this is updated with that bridge information. Okay, so that is it for the demonstration I had. So let me jump back to presentation here. Okay, so whenever we first started designing the new report tool, the reports tag had some top priority reporting features and capabilities that they wanted to see in the new report tool. So first and foremost, they wanted to start centralizing reporting features in one location within BrDR. This is what the reports ribbon was meant to accomplish. So any future reporting features that we add as part of the new report tool 2.0 will be included in that ribbon. Additionally, we wanted to make the template editor more user-friendly. As Mike demonstrated earlier, the old template editor was pretty tedious. You had to make a lot of clicks to generate the report that you wanted. By adding drag and drop features and additional customization, we wanted to make it much simpler to use. Additionally, we wanted the ability to display data in tabular format to reduce white space. As I showed earlier with the concrete materials, you can toggle your data blocks back and forth between a listed format and a tabular format as you choose. Additionally, we wanted to start serializing engine and analysis results data to make output reports easier to generate. This is currently a work in progress. We have our analysis API and results 2.0 features that are currently underway. I believe that's going to be included in BrDR 7.7. Once that initial enhancements in place, then we can start utilizing that in the report tool as well. And finally, we wanted to add schematics and graphics to reports. So this is going to be a little bit further down the road. We're going to have to overhaul this feature in BrDR as well before we can start adding these items to the report. But it is something that's on the roadmap. Okay, so what's in the pipeline for upcoming releases? So phase 2 of the report tool will be included in the 7.7 release. So this will include BWS reports for the remaining superstructure types. It'll also include FE model and girder member alternative reports and a Microsoft Word report writer. So what the Microsoft report writer will do, it will allow you to basically export your BrDR reports into a Word format that you can open with Word and then further make edits in there. So phase 3 of the report tool is likely going to be in 7.8, but the work plan hasn't been finalized yet. So this will include LFR, LRFR, and LRFD analysis reports. It will also include all the remaining engine reports and output reports, excluding substructure reports. And finally, it'll include advanced printing features. So whenever we started working on the report tool, we were hoping to utilize the basic Windows printing window as a printing option, and that ended up being somewhat limited. So we're going to implement our own print window and our own print preview window. Okay. And then finally, in future phases, we'll implement BWS reports and engine reports for substructure. And then schematics and graphics, as I mentioned, are a little bit further down the road. Okay. And then finally, the reports tag has also come up with several additional enhancement ideas that will likely be included in future phases. One example, adding templates to the library to allow users to set default templates. Also generate collapsible PDF reports, including calculations in the reports, integrating QA/QC into reporting features, allowing users to add notes directly to the report, adding table of contents, metadata with hyperlinks, and then the ability to generate batch reports for the Bridge Explorer. This is probably only about maybe 1/3 of the ideas that the reports tag has come up with so far. And there's no guarantee that all of these items will be included in future releases, but these are things that are currently being discussed. And also, if you have any ideas for features that you would like to see included in the new report tool, I would encourage you to reach out to a member of the reports tag, and also feel free to support or submit a JIRA ticket as well. Okay, and that's all I had.
All right, thank you, Lindsey and Mike. We'll give a virtual round of applause for those two. I think we have time for some questions. So there are some open questions that we can ask, and then we'll go through some of the answered questions that people got typed answers to. So I'm going to turn the presentation or the mic over to Jeff Trees from ProMiles to go through some of those questions on that side. Go ahead, Jeff.
Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah, so I was answering a lot of these as we were going, just so people could get answers. So if that way, if you had other questions, you could bring those up now, and so I'll fly through these real quick. Well, I'll start with the answered questions, Ben, just because I think there were some good questions. I think the first question was about the presentation, like the PDF or the slides will be available, and those will be available on the website afterwards. Okay. Next question was, are these reporting options only available in BrDR or also available in the or also available for the BRR software? Yes, this is available for BrDR, BRR, and BRD. You'll be able to eventually use it with all of them. Right now, as Lindsey mentioned in her presentation, this is just the only thing that's publicly released so far is this phase 1, and that just includes a small subset of input reports, but eventually everything will be in there. But that is available for all 3. Will there still be an XML output? We currently use Python to search for the XML report for controlling rating, et cetera here. I guess I could read the whole question. Rating for all spans, members, member locations, critical points for each vehicle, and output that information into our load rating report. BRR couldn't do this before by itself. Yeah, so the question, so the answer to that is, for now, the XML reports aren't going anywhere. I think our goal is to transition people over to the new report tool as we add reports. So there will be some duplicate functionality in the software for a period of time. Eventually, we probably will stop maintaining those old reports, but we are aware people have used the XML reports to write code against. That's not advisable to do it that way because we don't treat that as an API, and we can make changes to it from any version, and it could potentially break your software. That said, we know people do it, and so I think we would probably not sunset it before we have a good alternative for you. One thing that is upcoming, unrelated to the report tool, is we are working on a results API. Historically, we did not have a public results API. And that's going to start off as a small thing and then eventually add more to it. Next one, can the paper size be changed? Yes, there is a page settings. Lindsey, I don't know if you want to share, you could do a live, if it would be easy for you to show it live, if you want to show the page settings window. If you don't have it, don't worry about it.
Let me see.
So again, the editor. Or I'm sorry, go to like maybe like the print. Oh, you know what? This isn't so yeah. So I apologize. I think we're adding a new window here in 7.6. It already has been replaced. I'm assuming this is 7.51, Lindsey?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So the good news is you can change the paper size here. It's not a very good window. This is the Microsoft Windows print dialog. We have replaced this in 7.6 that will be released later this year. So yeah, you can change that. It will remember your settings. So if you find the settings that you like, close it, reopen it. Those settings will be restored, and you'll be able to do that. And also, we do have plans to work with the reports tag to even further improve this, because this is something that we'll have to iterate on and change it over time. Next question is, can it be saved as a PDF? Yes. I mean, you can print to PDF. I mean, the easiest thing to do is print to PDF, find the settings that make your report look good, and then you can just print to PDF. I think Lindsey mentioned some of the ideas that we have is the ability to eventually directly generate PDF files that are more in line, that will make it look better for PDF versus doing the print to PDF feature. But that is something you can do already. Dave asks, is there a way to reset the order of the reports in the template after they've been dragged around? The answer is no. I don't think there is, right, Lindsey? I don't think there is a way to do that currently, but that is a good idea. Probably didn't think of that before. One thing that right now, if you wanted to get back to the way it was, you'd have to manually move everything back around, or just create a new template, start from scratch. Go ahead, Lindsey.
Yeah, you could just click new if you wanted to reset everything, and then just opt to not save changes. That would be one option. But yeah, that is a good idea for something else that we could add.
Yeah, maybe you could click on like one of the folders and then click reset default or something, and put a button somewhere, and then it would reset it back to that branch of the tree, make it back to the default settings. That's a good idea. Report templates can be copied and shared with others. Will the report templates be version specific? So the first answer question is the answer to the first question there is absolutely. You can absolutely send these templates around. And that's the goal of it, is that we want the ability for agencies that if they want to report in a very specific format, the eventual goal is to be able to send you that template, and the consultant can use it on their end, or whomever needs to make the report can just run the template, and it will generate the report exactly how the designer of that template intended. I think one of our goals will be eventually to even be able to embed like letterheads or whatever in the template. So when you share it, like if you want the state agency's logo on there with the consultant logo, whatever's allowed, whatever you want to be able to do under the sun, we can embed that in the template, and then you can just share that around, and it will generate it for you. Second question is, will the report tool templates be version specific? Yes, for now, the templates will be version specific, meaning that if you generate a template in 7.5, you will not be able to import it into 7.6 yet. And that was intentional for cost reasons. Right now, we're making a lot of changes to the report tool. We may add something in here that just didn't pan out the way we thought, and we may need to change it. We're adding new things constantly. We're going to be adding new things constantly to it. We're going to be making changes. We didn't want to have to put the version conversion mechanism in there, even though it would be convenient. We didn't want to put that in there yet because we would have to write a lot of code in there to fix the things that we changed dramatically. Within the next few iterations of this tool, things will kind of have a better picture. Yeah, we're on the right track. It's working the way we want it, and then we can start implementing the version conversion, and then that will work. We know that's an inconvenience right now, but the way we looked at that also is we only have a small subset of the bridge model in there right now anyway, so it's of limited use. So it shouldn't be it's a trade-off, at the end of the day. I'll leave it at that. Can one add text comments within the report template? Not really yet. That is something that we will be adding. I think that was something that certainly bubbled to the top that a lot of people requested. And we have various ways of doing this. We've heard one request was, for example, they want to be able to directly edit the report. That's very doable. Excuse me. Another request that we heard is folks have asked for a while actually about adding comments and documentation directly to various parts of the bridge model itself. So maybe on a member or on a structure, on a bridge alternative, put more detailed comments in there. And then just like you can add any details to this report, you could add those attributes to the report, and then it would actually embed it right in the report for you. So when you generate the report, it could pull the comments right out of the bridge model itself. That's currently not in there, but that is something that's has bubbled to the top. The next question is text to the printed report. I think this is just a correction of one of the previous questions that was asked. But if that's not the case, please submit a new question. Next question was, for example, we may want to know if a truck platoons can pass a list of bridges on the interstate. I'm wondering if the combined report can generate directly for a list of bridges. So I think really the question here is, can the report tool work with a list of bridges? The current answer is no. Right now we're trying to build out the report tool for a single model, for a single bridge. And then eventually I do believe that we will almost certainly want to generate reports for batches of bridges, but that's not currently in scope. We're really trying to get this tool to work for the bulk of use cases. The bulk of use cases that people need sooner than later. And if that is something that you need sooner than later, again, as Lindsey mentioned, please pass that information along to the reports tag. Do any of these updates plans to be available for ASR models? Yes, I think eventually once we get we're going to be starting on some engine output reports in one of the next phases, those will certainly be included. The next one is yes, okay, thank you, response is understood. I think that was probably again related to one of the previous ones. Will LRFR and LRFD analysis output reports include analysis settings as part of the report? It's currently not simple to track what analysis settings will be applied to the output. Yeah, this is a good one. I don't think that was on the radar yet, but that is something that I think that would be good to include. I think we should make a note of this one. Let me just copy. I don't know if anybody else on the panel here is copying anything, but I'll copy that one over and we'll put that into Jira. Okay, moving on to the next question. Is there a way to have the input file name reported on the associated output runs along with its last modified date? When reviewing PDFs of a rating report documentation, we struggle with confirming which LRFR report is associated with each input file. I believe so, right, Lindsey? I mean, I think they could. Right now, I mean, we don't have the output in there yet, but I think that absolutely once we have that, you'll be able to see the bridge name, the bridge ID. I think you can put the last change timestamp is probably already available in there.
Yeah, I think all that will be available whenever we add the output. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that will be coming. Actually, yeah, we could probably add that in there. The last change timestamp. That's kind of hidden information behind the scenes, but we do have it. So that's something we could absolutely add. I'll save this one to add so we don't lose it. Will the report settings be saved for repeated use? Yeah, absolutely. Again, you can save them as templates, and then you can export them as template files that you can share with people. You said there would be added functionality to the outputs. Our client requires multiple individual POIs for each member, therefore multiple member alternatives, and the tabular results to be printed for each. This results in dozens, if not hundreds, of individual runs per bridge. It'd be significant time savings and cost savings to be able to batch run and print the tabular results for multiple member alternatives, not just for existing and current POIs for each beam. Currently, for each alternative, we must run an analysis, go to tabular results, modify the display. Yeah. This is a very specific scenario that you're requesting here. I don't think that was, I have not seen this exact request regarding, like, when you do a batch run, it does use the existing and current. If you had wanted to do everything, that would certainly be an enhancement. That would need to be done before we even update the report tool to be able to handle that, but I will log this one as well. So that can be considered, but that's not currently on the radar, but that doesn't mean that it can't be considered. For the results API that you mentioned, will it be through the DLL? Open API can also come in to catch those results and communicate with BRM for data entry. That's probably a very broad question because I could give you a bunch of different answers here, so I'll try my best. Yes, I mean, for the results API, it is going to be accessed through the DLL because it's something that BrDR itself will use. But we will also document it as a public API, just with our normal desktop application API. Eventually, everything will be eventually in the long run, everything will eventually be available through Open API, but that's a longer term need. I think it's going to be hard while we're purely a desktop application, but as we move more to the cloud, we will be adding more and more capabilities to the Open API as well. Communicating with BRM, that is more specific there, I think, because the BRDR and BRM have a native way of communicating to one another. We are going to be leveraging Open API for that here soon, but that is something that we have a dedicated tag for that kind of overlaps between BRM and BRDR, and they do have a lot of enhancement ideas to improve the integration between the two products more than it currently can do. And anybody else on the panel can feel free to hop in on add anything to these if you guys want. Is anything changing with the bridge rating results? Tabular reports not generated by the report tool. We use the detailed report that displays single lane, multi-lane with impact. Yeah, Aaron, we're not going to remove any current capabilities. We're going to be making sure all the stuff that the software can currently do, all the reports it can currently generate, we're going to make sure that they can be handled correctly with everyone's satisfaction in the new report tool before we sunset anything. There will be, like I said, there will be two ways to kind of generate these reports for some period of time. And then I think once everyone is satisfied with the new approach, we'll sunset. We're not gonna leave anybody, out to dry, I guess, with the reports. It doesn't cost anything to leave them in there. Mark says, thank you for the presentation. Yes, thank you, Lindsey and Mike. Good job. Next question, can the reported bridge inventory data be linked to be printed within the header footer of every page? No, not currently. That's not currently something. I'm going to save that one, make sure we log that. A lot of little things like this that they're little things, but if we can document them, let the reports tag chew it over, and then I think we can make it as an option in the tool. Will the reports be available to import BRM data? No, I think if you want to do any BRM reporting, you would do that on the BRM side. That said, the stuff that we link, if you have a linked bridge or some rating data that you have pushed to BRM and it's also available on the BRM side, on the BrDR side, then yes, I mean the report tool will show that information. But the reporting is not going to report anything from the BRM side of things. You'd have to get those reports from BRM. Will the analysis report include the LFD and LRFD live load distribution factor calculations? I think eventually it will. It doesn't currently. We don't have any output reports or analysis engine reports or anything like that in the report tool yet. But if I'm not mistaken, we have that report. I think you access it through the window. I don't know if someone can correct me on that. I think you access it through the LLDF window. You can generate that report. I think eventually that will be available using the new report tool. Aaron asks, so it will eventually move to the report tool location, referring to my previous question. Let me scroll up. Yeah, it'll be, let me put it this way, it'll be duplicated there for a period of time, and then the old reports will be sunset if they're no longer needed by anybody. Hopefully that answers the question. That's all the questions.
Yeah, and if we have any follow-up questions, we can certainly answer them through the support site afterwards.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Lindsey. Thank you, Mark, Mike, Herman, for responding to questions and delivering that excellent webinar. I will end the webinar now. If you'd like to review it later, please head over to the website and it'll be available along with the PDF version of the slides. Have a good rest of your week and thanks for joining.